Hi guys, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. It's Lisa. I know it's been a while. It's just been a while. So I didn't do my usual intro, like sat chat, because I didn't really look at this one as being a sat chat. Yes, it is Saturday, and yes, this is a chat, but it was just a different feel to it. I actually just wanted to talk to you guys. Now, I never really showed too much of my private life, like private life on YouTube. I mean, I'll share little things that maybe have happened to me or something like that. But when it comes down to my family, I normally don't. So this is going to be about my family. I'm not going to over talk it or anything like that. I'm going to just get into it. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook already know that my brother passed. He passed on September 4th. I have my little notes right here because sometimes a girl can't remember. I'll let you guys know about that later on. But yeah. So on it was Friday night, September 4th, my niece called me through Facebook and she said, I don't know if anybody's told you or not, but dad, passed or whatever. So I don't she wasn't there. She wasn't at the house. She was wherever she was. And she said that the coroner had not even gotten there yet. So she didn't know anything basically what was going on. She said that her mom said that she'd gone to get her hair done, and when she came back, but she went to work, she went to get her hair done, and when she came back he was gone. Now I didn't know if she had gone to work and came home and then went to get her hair done, and then when she got back he was gone, or if she just went from work to get her hair done. Either way, he was gone when she got back. So, excuse me. She gave me her mother's phone number because I didn't have her phone number. I had my brother's number, and whenever I would call it over the weeks, whatever, following what was going on, he never answered. Excuse me, guys. So, I said I'd call her the next day. So, yeah. Anyway, my niece was really upset. I called her the next day. It was probably like maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. And when she answered the phone, now my brother has a grandchild. He has 2 grandchildren, and one of them is fairly young. So when she answered the phone, I heard, so I thought it was a kid. So I thought it was a granddaughter, and I said, sweetheart, can I talk to your mom, your grandma, your mother, whatever. She said, because the number that came up on my phone was my niece's number. And I'm like, because she called me through Facebook, so it's like when her number popped up, her name and everything, I'm like, okay, where do I have this number at? It was crazy. Like, I didn't even know I had her number in my phone, but that's what it came up as. So I found out later on that I guess it wasn't her. Anyway, neither here nor there. So I kept hearing the. So I said, okay, is your mom there? So can I talk to your mom? And then I thought maybe it was my brother's youngest daughter, but she's in her 20s, but still I'm like, well, maybe this is her squeaking like this. Maybe she's upset or crying, whatever. So I said, hi, Mia. Her name's Mia. I said, can I talk to your mom? And I talked to Bridget, and she said. Then it was the voice was, this is Bridget, so that's his wife's name. So I said, okay. I said, how are you doing? And then I said, well, under the circumstances, I can only imagine. So I said, well, Michaela, Michaela, my niece's name, gave me your number, and what happened? Like that. So she said, well, he had a lot of medical issues, and it was natural causes, right? So I'm thinking, I didn't know too much about natural causes, but how could you have medical issues and have natural causes? But I found out since then that some of the things that he had was considered natural, was unnatural causes if it was like murder or something. Okay, so I gathered that much. That's fine. But at that time, at that moment, I was in a space of, okay, it's only been a day, not even a full day yet. So how do you know it's natural causes? Like I said, later on, I found out what was going on. So, and then she said, "Can I call you back?" I said, yes. That was September 5th, 2020. I have not heard from her yet. Today is, I can't even think of what today is. The 20, I don't even know what the day is. I have not heard from her yet. Now, when I say that, I'm saying that she has not called me. I have not heard anything about what's happened to him. Did she decide on a cremation? Did she decide to have it? Nothing. I'm lying. I haven't heard anything from her. But my niece did contact me. This might be a little long, guys, so I'm sorry. But, I need to talk about this and I need to get it out. But my niece did, she didn't call me. She sent a message through Facebook. I don't know what was going on with the Facebook thing, but that's how I communicated too, since that's how she contacted me. So, she said, I sent her a message first and I asked how she was doing that day. And she sent me this long message about how she was feeling. And, my brother her dad was, her heart and, just stuff like that, which I could understand. And then, she said, my mom said she was going to call you. So I spoke to her and, I'm sorry, it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, that was a Monday. And then I texted her again on Wednesday. And she said, my mom said she was going to call you. I saw her. Wait a minute. Let me go back. When I talked to her on, it was either Sunday or Monday. I didn't talk to her. I texted her. Asked how she was doing. And she told me how she was doing. And then she said, my mom said she was going to call you when she gets back out of town. She's out of town. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, I left it alone. So Wednesday, I contacted her again and I said, so how it's going? She says, going. I met with my mom for about an hour today, which was Wednesday. And she said, and she said she was going on her way, I guess after they got done doing what they were doing, to meet the lady about the cremation. So I was like, oh, so she decided to do cremation. And I guess she was like, yeah, well, she's going to either do it next week or the week after.
Huh?
So I was like, well, there's not going to be a memorial service. She says, well, he didn't really have that many friends. And I'm like, yeah, he did. Because, when we grew up, we were growing up, there was lots of people from the neighborhood that actually still contacted him, because there were a lot of people that were contacting me talking about, oh, I just talked to him 2 weeks ago. I just talked to him on this day. Oh, I talked to him on that day. So it's like there were people that was contacting him. And she said, believe me, when I say nobody checked on him, nobody called him but you and my mom, nobody cared about him or whatever she said. She didn't say care about. She says nobody really checked for him other than you, my mom, and me. And anyway, I said, no, that's not true, because our other family members talked to him, and some of the friends of, that I know that knows him has spoken to him. So my thing about that was, can I get an opportunity to see my brother? Is it okay if you call me and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, but you can come and view it's something? I heard absolutely nothing from her. When I say nothing, I mean since September 5th. She has not texted me. She has not called me. She has not written me. She has not sent me a message by humming pigeon. None of that. What is it called? Mental telepathy. I didn't get anything from a drone. Nothing. Sorry about that. I'm his sister. Even if you don't like me, I'm his family. We've never had anything, though. We were always cool, so I don't understand what this is about. But even if she didn't like me, it was your obligation to tell me what had happened to my brother, what you plan to do with my brother. Now, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. One second. So, a week or so went by. I'm still thinking I wasn't going to call her back because at this time I was pretty upset. Like, I'm not going to call her back because I know me and my mouth. If she says anything out of the way, then I'm not going to ever get any information because she's going to hang up on me because that's how raw it would get from me. But I'm thinking that she could have at the least, tell her daughter to tell me something. Or just sent me a text. She had my number. So, she has Rodney's number. She's friends with him on Facebook. When I checked, she had like 3 Facebook accounts, and I'm not friends with her. I have friends with her on one of them, but that's one of the ones I guess she doesn't use anymore. But the newest ones, I'm not, but Rodney is. So I checked her Facebook, I checked my niece's Facebook, and I checked my brother's Facebook to see if anybody had said anything. Nobody said anything about it. So it was like a couple of weeks had gone by and nobody had said anything. So at this point, I was telling my husband, like, well, his friends need to know because if she's not talking to me, I know they don't know. So he posted something on my behalf about my brother. And those of you who are friends with me saw that post. And even to this day, I have not seen anything about, not just about my brother, but period, coming from any of them. So, anyway, like I said, fast forward to like a week ago. I was talking to Charlton is my oldest son, his grandmother. And she used to work for the police department and everything. And she was saying, why don't you just call and see if you can get any information? Because we were looking, her, me, another one of my friends was looking, another one of my friends who's my best friend that actually was introduced to me by my brother that passed. So she and I have been friends for however long, 30 something years. But anyway, we were all online trying to find something. I think when someone passes, you see some type of information on something about they passed. There was nothing anywhere. We looked on the obituaries and everything. So I'm like, it's almost like he just vanished. So it was like 1:00 in the morning, and I was online looking through the facilities in Texas. My brother lives in Texas, and I was looking, and I just kept seeing all these, mortuaries, whatever, and I would click on the obituaries to see if they had him there, or just put his name in the search. Nothing was coming up. So I thought about what my oldest son's grandmother said, and I was like, you know what, let me call the police department. I don't know what they could do, but so I called. The guy answered the phone. So he said, I told him what was going on, and he says, well, what you would need is, he told me something, I couldn't remember what it was, but he says, I'll connect you. He connected me to this lady, and I told her what was going on. She's like, I can't give you, I'm doing the face because this is how I imagine her saying it. I can't give you that information, ma'am. And I was like, well, the guy who connected me to you obviously thought that you could, but I stand corrected. Is there any way you can help me to put me in the right direction? In the right, I can't even talk. I'm so annoyed. If you can just point me in the right direction. She said, you would need to call the medical examiner's office. I don't even know why I didn't think of that. I really don't. But I was like, okay. So it was, like I said, it was like 2:00 in the morning. So, of course, I called. They weren't there. They didn't open until the next day, which this was on a weekday when I called. So let's say it was like a Tuesday. And I left a message basically telling them, what was up and that I was trying to find out what happened because I haven't heard anything. So the next day, I left my number and everything. The next day, a lady called. No. I called back and they answered the phone and I told them what was going on. And she said, she pulled up his name. She said there were 2 people with that name. And she mentioned the age was like 20. I said, no, that's not him. So she said, well, she gave me an address, which is probably the address that's on this paper I have. And I said, I don't know. I'm not sure what his address was. And then she said his wife's name. And I said, yes, that's the one. She said, yes, I can confirm. Then she started telling me when, when it happened, they came in, what happened, whatever. So I thanked her because I was relieved, not that he was gone, but relieved that at least I knew that much, that it was true, because some of his friends were saying that it doesn't seem like that's true because I don't hear anything, I haven't seen anything, whatever. So the same day, later on that day, I actually got a call from the medical examiner's office, and I guess the person who answers the phone called me back, not knowing that I'd already spoken to somebody because I called them. She was really, really nice, just like the first lady that I talked to, well, the lady that I talked to when I called back. And I asked her, I said, is it possible for me to get that address, because I want to send something, which that was really not why I wanted it. But she's like, well, let me see what the situation is. She says, because I may not be able to give you that information. I was like, okay. Well, the other lady did. I just didn't write it down. So anyway, she says, well, yeah, because the coroner, she called it something else, but which meant the coroner did the information. I can give it to you because it's public record. Had she reported it or something like that, said, then something like that, she said, then I wouldn't have been able to give it to yours. Anyway, she said, I can send you a report. And that's what this is. She sent me the report, and she stayed on the phone with me until I got it in my email. She was really, 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 really nice. I was so touched because it's like, damn, this lady did not have to do this. She could have told me, you can go, find it yourself. I do plan to get a death certificate also. But according to the report, now I know my brother had a pacemaker back in the day, and I know he was struggling with some type of lung thing. He had what is it? I'm trying to think. High blood pressure, that runs in my family. I'm the only one that does not have high blood pressure or any kind of heart disease or anything like that. But my brothers all do. So it says the cause of death, complications of HACVD. So hypertension, something, cardiovascular disease, and DM, which I know is diabetes, so it's complications. Now, I spoke to my brother like maybe 3 weeks before this happened. I could not get in touch with him. Didn't know what was going on. Well, prior to that 3 weeks, I couldn't get in touch with him. So I called. I sent a message to his daughter and said, what's going on? And she said, well, Dad's in the hospital. It's like every time he goes, it's his breathing, and they will just give him treatments, whatever, keep him for 3 days, and then he goes home and everything's fine. I said, every time. She said, yeah, you didn't know he goes in and out for that. I was like, no, I didn't know. So that's how I found out. So when he came home, she said, well, Dad's home, and I told him to call you. And my brother did call me, and we talked for a long time. That was the last conversation we had. He told me a lot of things. But he'd been telling me things prior to that, too. And a lot of the things weren't all that great. I'm just going to say, I won't get into all that. But, yeah, a lot of that stuff wasn't so great. And the plan was he was coming to Arizona. He had rheumatoid arthritis, the arthritis that you can't walk. He said that the day I spoke to him, the last time I talked to him, he said that day was the first, he took his first steps in 2.5 years. I did not know any of that. His wife did not call me to tell me anytime he went into the hospital. So I'm finding all this out after the fact. He said something like, I didn't want you to worry, whatever. So, so that was that. And like I said, to this day, she has not contacted me. I don't know what has happened to my brother. I don't know where his body is, I should say. So, this paper has an address. It has a phone number. And I don't know. Now, this part that I'm going to talk about. It says narrative and or comment. So I guess this is according to the deputy that was there. He said that my brother had frequent hospitalizations and ER visits. His last hospitalization was from June 20th to July 20th. So he was in there for a month. I had no idea. Nobody told me. So it says chronic CHF. I'm not sure what that is right now. Chronic heart failure or something like that. Heart failure. Anyway, his last ER visit was in August. So that was, I guess, when I spoke to him when his daughter told me that he was in there. It basically said that he lived with his wife, and this is the part that got me, was mostly bedridden with assistance into his wheelchair. Now, what does that mean? That means that he needed help getting into his wheelchair. Am I not correct? When I read that part to my friend, she says, well, she's a doctor. She's like, oh, no, that just means that he can get around with this wheelchair. I said, no, that's not what it said. It says, I didn't go to school to be a doctor, but I'm intelligent. I can understand what this is saying. It says with assistance into his wheelchair, not the wheelchair assist him getting around. It says assistance into his wheelchair, meaning somebody needs to help him in the damn wheelchair. I'm not stupid. Anyway, sorry. It says he was last known alive on September 4th at 6:30 a.m. as he lay asleep on his recliner. At that time, this is his wife left to go to work. She returned home at 8:30 p.m. and found him in the same position, unresponsive on his recliner.
Huh?
So basically, he was in that chair for over 12 hours. I'm going to leave that alone. It says 911 was contacted. North Channel EMS number 14 responded, whatever that is. And he was pronounced dead at 8:40 p.m. The date of this report is September 4th at 9:46 p.m. The time, rather. So, that's that, guys. I know this has been long, but I wanted to talk about it, and I don't know if I'm ever going to have any type of closure about where he is or what she decided to do, anything like that, because my husband said he was going to call, and we didn't call this number unless this number is the one I have in my phone. I'm going to check that when I get off with you guys and see if that's the same number that his daughter gave me. But no, I can't even do that, and I'll say that because the conversation that she and I had is gone, completely gone. I didn't erase it. Now I'm thinking, when I was telling my son, he was like, oh, mommy, maybe you did. I was like, okay, whatever. The phone number that I had in the phone, because when she gave me the number, I wrote it down. You know what? I might still have that piece of paper, but I did put it into my phone under her name. That's completely gone. The number for her that Rodney had in his phone is gone. So I asked my son, I said, is it possible, those of you who are friends with me on Facebook saw this, I said, can someone delete your number from your phone and they're not there with the phone? Because it's like, I asked my son and he says, well, mommy, I don't think so, but let me check into it. And it's like, it's funny, like, I know I'm always deleting something. It's possible that I could have deleted it, but to delete it from my husband's phone too, it's gone also from his phone. It's kind of crazy. And then the messages are gone. So, like I said, I had to pray about it and try to come to terms with the fact that I might not ever know what happens. I contacted my niece a week ago. I have not heard anything from her. Nothing from her. Excuse me. And she normally contacts me like within an hour or at least by the next day. It's been a week. Nothing. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know where else to turn to. Sorry. My throat is itching. I don't know. But that was that, guys. I'm going to get off because I kept you for 24 minutes. But I just wanted to share that story with you. Hey, guys, if any of you know anything short of me going to her house, which I'm not going to do because I'm not trying to get locked up in Texas. I'm not even going to say what I was getting ready to say because I don't want, no. So if any of you know of anything else I can do, or how I can at least find out what happened, I mean, it's got to be a record of a cremation somewhere. If you know anything about this, if you work with anybody that, you know, has anything to do with this, or if you work with this yourself, if you can give me some idea of how I can at least find out if he was buried or cremated or what, without having to call this hoe. So yeah, that's that. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening because it was a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Maybe I'll be in a better state of mind then. But other than that, I will talk to you guys later. So take care. Be good. Try to be good. But if you can't be good at it. Do it.